Okay, so exciting news. I'd eaten like a very small amount of protein the past couple of days, and that was all I ate. So today, I slowly ate like about a can of tuna with mayo, and like my stomach felt pretty good. A little crampy, but I just rubbed it a little. Like, well, it really was more wavy motion, but you guys ever heard of Rat Park? It was some study that was done in '95. It went through my TikTok the other day, but I saw it first maybe 10 years ago. And it's kind of why I've always had like a soft heart towards drug addicts, because in a way like I was one, because I had a really bad relationship with food from like growing up without enough food and like food scarcity and stuff. But then when we had food, more food anyway, and when I was a teenager it still wasn't really enough, I would binge eat when I got stressed. And I didn't really tell anybody this like for years, because I kind of wanted to pretend it didn't happen. But I still did it in college to the degree I thought my ex-husband wouldn't judge me, but he still judged me. But he had been like a supposed recovering alcoholic, but I felt like I smelled alcohol in him sometimes. Yeah. What am I trying to say here? Okay, so Rat Park is a study that was done, it could have been the 1970s, not sure, but it probably is pretty easy to find on the internet. And so they gave the mice like a choice between heroin water and regular water, and put them in a like solitary cage. It might have been 2 rats in one cage, but I think it was like they were alone. And so then later some other scientist looks at the study, and he's like, well, you didn't really give them any other options, like they were alone, and so of course they were, drinking the heroin water way more, or instead of the water, I'm not sure, but they were high on heroin all the time. So he makes like this kind of like rat paradise with swings and slides. That's how I imagine it. I don't know what rats like, but and like lots of other rats. And so when the rats have like this option of like being in a community and like involved with other rats and having fun things to do, they drink the regular water and barely ever drink the heroin water. So you could say for sure I had a lack of support growing up. That did happen. So the guy who was talking about the Rat Park study, I think this could have been a TED Talk. He was saying, okay, so addiction is a problem of community, not like chemistry in the brain. Which the only way I've been able to develop like a better relationship with food, and it's still, well, I think it's getting better now, but I got ulcerative colitis, and that forced me to stop overeating because it was painful. But when like a flare would end, I would like start doing it again to some degree, with sweets mostly and bread. But what like is kind of odd when you have like the stuff going on that I do in my body, it's like sugar kind of gives you like a lightheadedness that just feels so much better than like how stressed you're usually feeling. But like I would eat like a lot of it, like whereas I could have eaten like half a cookie and it probably would have been okay, maybe a fourth, just to get like a little bit of a buzz. And I also think I have like blood sugar issues. That's probably why it felt good, because I needed to like raise my blood sugar a little bit. And I kind of realized this, like if I had just like stopped at 1 cookie or so, I would have been okay. But I ate like 6. Talking about like that size of cookie, okay. in a sitting or more, but 6 was kind of the average, like when I was like 26 and upward. Or I'd eat like a bar of expensive chocolate, which those are pretty big compared to like a Hershey's bar. Or I'd eat like a few bars of cheap chocolate or more. So the first time I tried to stop eating sugar was in high school. I did it for a month. This wasn't like all sugar, but I stopped eating the stuff that has like a shitload of sugar. Cookies, cakes, brownies, blah, blah, blah. I still ate bread. But we really never had much bread in my home, so I wasn't really eating much bread. Anyways, so when I started eating sugar again in high school after this month break, I immediately got a constricted sore throat. I think it lasted for 3 days. So that kind of said, like, that's how my body feels about sugar in general. Doesn't mean I don't ever need it. But, I think I have hypoglycemia. But, I think I got a little off track, but I currently don't have a community of support. This is like the closest thing to that, because I feel like I'm helping people and maybe like interacting somewhat in like a observant way. I'm just kind of like observing myself and telling people about it. Okay, but that's what I've always done, is observe myself. I've never really met anyone who really gave a shit. You know, unless they could gain something from me. But, yeah. I really haven't had like enough money for food in the past 3 months. I feel like, well, the stress of leaving my hometown and having to get away from an abusive alcoholic I was dating, and I stopped taking my anti-inflammatory medication the month before I left town because his interactions with me like reignited my PTSD, so I wasn't able to calm down enough to remember to take my medication. But yeah, I guess I'm just saying, like, the more we can support each other, not judge. This doesn't mean you have to be around scary people who are in active addiction. If it's like not something you can deal with, you're always like allowed to have your boundaries. But I just think, like, as a culture, like, most of us have some sort of addiction, right? So we can be like a bit more compassionate to each other and not like see the person as the problem, you know? Because likely they're like in addiction because it was like literally the only option they had. I mean, as a teenager, I did not know what to do with like my really intense emotions and like passionate feelings and anger for the most part, so I would just eat. I think there was more food in the house after my mom left. Yeah. For a while. But, as I'm learning to be, like, more compassionate towards myself about what I've been through and the choices I've made, again, you don't have to enable anybody, which I did a little bit with the alcoholic I was dating. I wasn't driving to the store very often to get alcohol. I maybe did it 3 times. But I felt so bad about it, like the second time or so, that I was just like, I feel like I was trying to help this person, but like the feeling in my gut is so awful. Because you don't really ever want to be like a part of someone like killing themselves slowly. You know? The guy I was dating before him was like judging me for the amount of chocolate I eat. So basically for the next year, I didn't eat chocolate around him, and I barely ate chocolate. Made my teeth feel better, that's for sure. Still had to get 2 in the back pulled, but that was from previous years of sweet eating. like how bad this can get is like even though like my teeth were in like how's the best way to describe this, like stinging sort of throbbing pain, I just kept eating like chocolate and like sucking it out of my teeth because it hurt so bad. But I wanted like the high or temporary relief that chocolate gave me. It was kind of my go-to pattern there. These things I did like in high school, like teachers, quite a few of them like admired me for my work ethic. But I don't think they like really realized how much it was stressing me out. And like I wrote some essays in high school that got me a huge scholarship to college and basically a full ride. Still had to pay for housing and books and stuff. Well, it paid for part of it, and then grants paid for the rest. But whatever, it was $20,000, which was like a lot for college in 2007. Like that would go a long way. So that meant $2,000 per semester because it was 5-year scholarship. My grandparents were always kind of like judgy. They're like, do you need to go to college for 5 years? And I'm thinking, I just want a fucking scholarship. Just let me go to college as long as it takes me. But what this like enabled me to do was like switch majors a lot and there not really be a consequence. I got a resource conservation degree, which was fun. I got kicked out of music school for not practicing when I first met my ex-husband, but I was getting a little tired of their shit anyway because they didn't really accept me, and I wasn't really like the other classical musicians. Yeah. Oh, I got a philosophy minor too. It was weird because there was this like philosophy teacher who really like, she liked me at first when I took moral philosophy. So I took another class with her and wanted to get a philosophy minor because she kind of inspired me. Like I thought she was really cool. But then I didn't understand like the next class I was in. We were learning stuff like Descartes, Spinoza, blah, blah, blah. Spinoza, I understood. I liked him. But Descartes, at that point, I just could not wrap my head around, and I was going through so much stress in my relationship that I really didn't have any mental energy left. Because I was getting so angry at my ex-husband for trying to make me someone I wasn't. I don't know. I felt like he was trying to force me to not be depressed. It's just like, that's not a thing. I'm talking a long time. But it's kind of really sad. Okay. Okay. That's it for now.